Hello, everybody. Hello. Happy Tuesday. I'm going to wait for a couple more people to jump on and turn my light down a little bit, a little bright. I know a few people were going to try to jump on tonight, so I'm just going to give them a few moments to come on and be with me. And I'm just trying to... Hi, Emily. I'm just trying to pull up some things on my computer so I can see the comments. Hello, Lorena. Welcome. Sometimes when I do the live events, it shows me who's on. It shows me questions, but sometimes they get lost in the shuffle. So that's why I'm trying to pull it up on my computer so that hopefully I can see them this time. Hi, Luann. Hi, Chris. Welcome. Good evening. Okay, so we got quite a few viewers, which is very exciting. I wanted to come on tonight to talk a little bit about my experience with channeling that I have been doing recently. So the other day I did share a channeled recorded and shared within this group, which was the first time that I have actually recorded a message like that. So what that was, and you can go back at any time and listen to it. It's within the group. You'll just have to kind of scroll through. It shows up as like a Dropbox audio clip. So I channeled my higher self, as well as, I guess I'm trying to still decipher if it's my higher self or it's light beings and light codes that are coming in, which I think is all kind of related to my higher self. So you'll hear me talk about light beings, you'll hear me talk about my higher self. For me right now, I feel like it's kind of one and the same. It's very intertwined because that's just kind of how it is. And I'm going to kind of explain all of that to you in a minute. So first of all, I want to say thank you to those of you who have listened and those of you who have given me positive feedback, because for me, I was just explaining it to my husband before I came down here, and it was the first time I actually told him about it as well. But for me, it's a little bit scary. It's a little bit, it's scary because I don't know how others will react. Because I still have to work through my own fears and judgments, that's what I'm working through right now by sharing this with all of you. So it's very affirmative to hear positive feedback and to hear or see people engaging with it and asking questions and wanting to know more. So that is why I'm here tonight, is just to answer some of the questions and explain a little bit more about my journey and how I got to where I'm at right now. So if at any time you have questions, please leave them in the comments. I will apologize right now. When I do Facebook Live, sometimes the comments and questions don't come through, but I will come back after the video is over and answer any of the questions that you have. So how this all kind of evolved for me, I'm going to start there. So I want to say it was about a year ago. I had my friend, Mary Bauer, who is a beautiful soul, a wonderful friend of mine. Her and I did an energy exchange, and when I was receiving energy from her, she kind of brought me to this place that felt like home. It was my home. It felt like that connection to my higher self. It was the first time that I've seen spirits, I've been seeing guides, I've been seeing angels, all this kind of thing, but it was the first time I had experienced kind of seeing a light being, which to me did appear a little bit different than a guide or an angel or an archangel, ascended master, or something like that. There are different kind of light beings, just as though there are different kinds of angels and guardians and spirit guides and loved ones and all that kind of stuff. It's something that I honestly don't know how to explain it, and I've explained it to some people before, but the being that I started to see after that healing that day kind of reminded me of like a being from the movie Avatar, and I haven't even seen that movie before, but I know what they look like a blue being, a little bit alien-like. But for me, it was not scary at all. It was very uplifting. It felt like a connection that I've had for lifetimes and lifetimes, which I know that I've had. I know now that I've had. And this being of light, I was working with one very specific being of light or light being for a few months when I was going through some personal things. This being was very supportive in my journey, and I started receiving messages from, I'll just say, her. She was blue, and then I also had a purple light being, and I just could see them as this bright beam of that specific color. And I can see these beings around my clients as well, which is really cool. But I started communicating and connecting with this being, with her every single day. And I would receive these downloads and these messages that came from this higher source. And again, now looking at it, I do question if that aspect of her was showing me the aspect of myself that I was working through. And like I was saying, I would connect with these beings on a daily basis. And as I was meditating and making this connection, I started receiving what I refer to as light codes. Which again, I don't really know how to explain, but if I closed my eyes and I saw the light codes, it looked like intertwining, like what an image of DNA would look like. That's how the light codes would come in. So I would make this higher connection. I would connect to these light beings, and then I would start to visualize these like DNA light codes coming in, and the energy or the vibration or the language was completely different. It's like I knew how to speak it, and I could probably interpret it if need be, but it felt like home, and it felt so familiar to me. And then I started doing kind of the same thing with my clients, and I would tell them like, okay, we're going to kind of do a DNA upgrade. You're going to receive some light codes. And as I was doing the energy healing, I was placing my hands on their body and allowing those light codes and that energy to come through. And I had a few clients that it was pretty intense for, but I always asked that it would be for their highest and greatest good, that it would come in with ease and grace, and that they would be able to adjust to these upgrades with ease. And so what also was happening was, as I was doing that, I was speaking in that different language, but I never actually spoke it out loud because, again, that fear was very present. So anyways, that's kind of what happened a year ago. So over the last year, I continued. There was a few months early this spring, summer, where I wasn't really connecting as much to the light beings, and I was again, but then I took a mediumship class in November and learned a little bit more about theta healing and making that connection to your higher self. And I thought, well, this is kind of new to me. This feels new. Like, I'm excited to learn something new. And the more I started to practice it after the mediumship class, the more I was like, wait a second, I've been doing this for quite some time. And when I would go low network connection. Okay, hopefully I'm still on. Maybe this is like way out there and it's not jiving with the energy of my phone right now. But anyways, when I was making my connection to my higher self is when all of that information again was coming through. So now it's been like 2 months where I've really been speaking it quite frequently. And last week, New Year's Day, is when I decided that, you know what, this is my truth, this is who I am, this is my core essence, and I need to, the emotions come up with it, not because I'm scared or sad, it's because this is my truth, and I'm ready to speak it and to share it. And not only does it come in with light codes, but it also has been coming in a lot with my healing work, with my readings for people, and it's a piece of it that I need to accept and share with others, because I know that it is a gift. And as we evolve into these new energies and this new expansion that we're experiencing, I know that this work is needed. I actually was told, I had a reading done myself a few weeks ago, and I was actually told that I am shifting out my my old guidance system, my spirit guides that have been with me for quite some time. They're shifting out and kind of leaving as I am transitioning into a new group of guides that are they are a council of light beings, and which made complete sense to me because I have been seeing these light beings for quite some time, and I know that they've been trying to work with me. And so I'm very honored. It was actually kind of a physically painful process to release my old guidance system. I had a lot of physical pain in my body, almost to the point that I thought I had to have surgery. For a split second, I'm like, oh my God, this is so intense. I don't know what's going on, but then it was just affirmed to me of what was happening. So it was very comforting, and it made the transition a lot easier. So again, I know this is probably out there for some of you, but thank you for listening to my story and for supporting me and allowing me the space to step into this truth and this authenticity of who I'm here and who I'm meant to be, because I do know that now that I'm working with some of these new beings, and I haven't met them all yet, but now that I'm working with some of these, I know that I'm getting the nudge and the push to really step into this so that I can live out my purpose and my passion in this physical form. And so sometimes the transformation isn't always easy. It can be scary and it can be hard, and there can be emotions that come up and physical pain and things like that. So it's been very interesting. So I wanted to share that with all of you. So thank you for tuning in to listen to that. I am going to be, hold on, before I talk about that, I wanted to answer a few questions that people had left on the recording that I did. And one person asked me, how would one learn more about this? Right now, the answer is meditation. Meditation. Try to connect to your higher self through meditation as much as possible. And the event that I'm hosting on Friday night, which is this Friday, January 10th, I am going to be talking a little bit more in depth about this and about how you can start to establish your own connection and what this means for you, because we are all headed in this direction. Okay, if you choose to stay in this physical form, I believe that we are all headed to this formation of being more light beings in this physical body, and what that means and how you can get there. So on Friday night, I'm going to be teaching a guided meditation to connect to ground into your energy, but also make that higher connection. And then I will also be doing channeled messages. So I will be connecting to your guides, your loved ones. Each person will have an opportunity to ask a question and to specifically receive the message that's meant for your highest and greatest good in the moment. And then I'm also going to be doing a collective message from my higher self, or this light being connection, which I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little scared, but I'm doing it because I know, again, that this is part of my journey, is to fully accept and step into this person, this being that I'm here meant to be. So I'm really, really, really excited about it. And I'm setting the intention that whoever's meant to be there for their highest and greatest good will be there. You can find out more information. I'll probably share the post in the comments here when I'm finished. So that would be, if you're ready for this, if you are wanting more of the messages, if you're wanting to connect to your higher self, if you're wanting to receive messages from your loved ones or guides, I highly recommend this event. This is the first of many events to come for this year. I need to do this for myself because it's catapulting me into my next journey as well, which I'm really excited about. Then somebody asked me, do you just feel what these words are saying to you? So when it comes to interpreting the language, Kelly asked me, do you just feel what the words are saying? And my answer to that is yes. I can interpret for the most part. Like when I'm speaking in that language, there's a part of my brain that's interpreting the meaning through feeling, I guess. Like I feel the message, I know the message, although it's coming out in a different language. I'm also like my other side of my brain is also processing the logical, like what is this making sense for? And that's probably why I haven't channeled these messages with my clients before, because it's like the left brain, right brain is trying to work at the same time, and it comes out so fast that I'll speak the language, but I can't translate it as fast as it's coming. So typically, without speaking the other language to my clients, what I've done is just give the message in English. So that's been kind of fun. So I am going to be doing a lot more of this because, again, I feel like as we are expanding, transitioning, people are ready for this message. People are ready for these messages. And I know some of you didn't have like a reaction or it didn't resonate, and that's totally okay. It's totally okay if you're not quite there yet. It does not mean that somebody that did have an experience is better than you or are more enlightened or more whatever. That has nothing to do with it at all. Sometimes it's just already kind of like an imprint in our DNA that we resonate with that vibration or with that language. That was another aspect that I wanted to share. Probably about 3, 4, 5 months ago, 6 months ago, something like that, I was at a drumming circle, and I usually feel like some deep emotion when I go to drumming. Like the first time I went to drumming, it hit my core because I felt a little bit of shamanism in my DNA, and I felt like I know this. But that night that I went to drumming, I had no emotional release. I didn't cry like I normally would. It felt great. It felt amazing to be there, but it just had a different effect on me. And at the end, the presenter's son, Jake Wondra, he also he got up. This was the first time he did it, and he said, I have a message. I don't know what language it comes in. I do know that it's from light beings and that it's light codes. So he asked us to just sit with our eyes closed and take in the energy and the frequency, the vibration of the message. And I just started sobbing my eyes out because all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, this is what I've been doing. This is like this is the same language. This is the same sort of thing that I've been doing, hiding out in my basement for the last 6 months, and it brought me home. And that's all I can really explain it. It's like when you're on a vacation and you're really, really enjoying it and you love being on vacation, but you get home and you get in your bed for the first time after a long vacation. It's just like, I've missed the comfort and the safety of my bed and like the squishy, cozy feeling of my blankets and all that kind of stuff. And it's just like, you just melt. That's what it feels like to me when I have this connection, or when I'm channeling these messages or these light codes and I'm speaking that language, is it just like brings me home. And that's, I'm just getting emotional because it's that safety and security. And when you go to put yourself out there and you share that with other people, it's like, it's kind of like you don't want strangers in your bed with you, right? Because that's your spot. That's the best I can explain this, is you're like, but this is like my space. This is like what's safe and comfortable for me if I don't have to share it with people. But sometimes being vulnerable and sharing that truth, you know that it's impacting others in whichever way that they're meant to experience. So kind of going back to, if it resonates or if it doesn't resonate, just keep yourself open to the idea of listening and bringing in the message, whether it makes sense or not. Because the way that I see it is a form of healing. The frequency, the tones, the pitches, whatever it is that's coming through, the vibration, it's healing on a cellular level, and it's upgrading your DNA. And that is crucial with the energy that we're shifting into. We're shifting into we're shifting as higher dimensional beings, and the universe as a whole is shifting into a higher awareness. So in order to do the work, not only do we need to do spiritual work, we need to meditate, we need to get lots of rest, we need to drink water, but we're shifting on a cellular level. And if you're wanting to shift with I'm trying to explain this the best that I know how. It's inevitable that this planet is shifting. We get to choose if we want to shift or we don't want to shift. And in order to experience expansion, we have to allow ourselves to expand in uncomfortable ways. And you can always tell when you're on the cusp of an expansion because you start to feel uncomfortable. And that was another aspect that I wanted to tie into tonight's video. But when it feels scary or uncomfortable or awkward, you know that it's kind of working, okay? So backing up one more minute here, if it doesn't resonate with you, do know that it is on a cellular level. So it's not about trying to interpret the words or the message. And I will always try to put a message in with it in English so that you guys have an idea of what I'm talking about. But it's not about understanding the language. It's about letting it come into your heart and expanding where you're at right now. And I will say that we are all on our own unique journeys. So to never judge or compare your journey to somebody else's. I will admit there are times when I've wanted to be 5 steps ahead of where I'm at right now. But I know that it's essential to my own growth to flow within each process of my experience. And I look at some of my friends who are totally gifted and amazing at what they do, and I try to compare my experience, and I want to be like way up there with them, but I know that that's not helping me, it's hindering me. So that's been part of my spiritual growth as well, is to not compare my experience to somebody else's. I do know that there are some people out there that have very similar experiences that I have learned a lot from, and I know that they have come into my life as my teachers so that I can step into this role of where I'm at right now. And there are times when I've done this channeling that I'm like, well, maybe I'm just making this up because I heard so-and-so do it. But no, I look at that as I met that person or they came into my life so that I could see that this too was a part of me and that this is a part of my journey and my evolution and expansion in this human becoming whatever it is, okay? Trying to see, there was a few other things I was going to talk about. I'm trying to see if there's comments, but they're not coming up. So a few things. Going back, so I'm having the event on January 10th. That is this Friday, which includes short meditation, channeled messages from your guides or loved ones, and then a channeled group collective message from my light beings. I'm so excited for that. The other aspect that I wanted to just quickly touch on is that, again, we're kind of already in the shadow period of the full moon energy. Luckily, we get to experience the full moon on Friday the 10th, but we also have this energy that kind of amps up before the full moon, and then it lingers for a few days after. I feel like we are already in the energy of the full moon. There's also an eclipse coming with it, so believe what you want to believe, read what you want to read. There's so much content nowadays out there that talks about the energies. I try not to get too wrapped up into it because nowadays it's becoming so much more mainstream, which is amazing and wonderful. Don't get me wrong, but there's also a ton of information, and there's ample information, which again is wonderful. For me, it becomes a little bit overwhelming. I do like to kind of scroll through things on Facebook and kind of see where I'm at and how I relate to what's going on. So make sure that you're listening to yourself. Reach out to a supportive community if you're experiencing certain things. Read what you want to read. But I also think the other aspect of that is some sources tend to really overemphasize and kind of blow things up, which again is wonderful. It's great that we have this knowledge available for us. The aspects of that energy that I wanted to touch on is that, yes, there is ringing of the ears, there's dizziness, there's headaches, there's eye twitching, there's body aches, there's muscle tension, there's all of these different physical symptoms that come with a full moon, an eclipse, and the shift of the energy. Also notice that when there is political uproar, and I'm not a political person by any means, but when there is political uproar, when there's devastation on this planet, you will also feel the effects, and they will come in within a physical format, okay? It's not to scare you, it's just to bring awareness that we're not always sick, okay? We might have symptoms that remind us of a cold, of a flu, of whatever it is, but listen to your body and do what you need to do when the symptoms arise. But again, numbing the pain, and this is my belief, but numbing the pain is also numbing what's meant to be there. These things are meant to show up because it also kind of slows us down, that we can go inward and look at our physical symptoms and notice, hey, what's going on with the universe right now? What's going on with the planet? What's going on with astrology wise, whatever. That is why some of those symptoms will show up for you. Always listen to your body, go with your intuition on that, but do know that a lot of those symptoms are coming into play right now with these energies amping up. You might feel over emotional, you might be sleepless at night, you might be having super crazy vivid dreams. Again, it's part of this big expansive energy that's coming in. Another aspect that I wanted to share was that, and this is my truth, and you might feel it as well, but it feels like we're kind of like almost to the peak of a mountain, and then you're going to be like catapulted off the other side. So if you feel like there's a lot of energy kind of building right now, the energy coming in on Friday, you will kind of get that catapult over to the other side to see what's there. So it for me, it almost feels like, oh my God, is something bad going to happen? Like, what's going to happen? Who's going to die? Like, what's going on? Not that I'm trying to focus on that, because I don't want that, but that's kind of how it feels. It's like, oh, I can feel it. I can feel it. The energy is just building, and I just feel like this huge explosive expansive energies happening. That might be also a collective energy that I'm feeling. Something might be happening within the collective. And I do believe as well, as we're in this new decade, in this new year, there's going to be a lot of changes with this planet. There's going to be a lot of political changes. There's going to be a lot of change. Somebody mentioned in my program that I'm doing right now, it's like they start to experience a little bit of guilt for not being able to help or to be able to do this or to do that. My answer to that is yes, you do have the power to help. If you are feeling called right now to help with Australia or help with whatever it may be the light. Do what you need to do. I don't know where this is coming from, but this is just a message that needs to be heard right now, is that you have more power and energy than you give yourself credit for, okay? If you're sulking and you're feeling guilty and you're feeling shame that you have something that somebody doesn't, or that you can't help on a collective way or on a collective scale, I'm going to be blunt. I'm going to call bullshit on that, because you all have this ability within you. You all have the strength to be the light, even if it's just sitting for 5 minutes and praying or sending love, sending light. A meditation that I did at an event probably 2 months ago is to sit and fill yourself with light and imagine connecting your light to somebody else on the planet. So let's say you are filling yourself with love and light and you're envisioning one person in Australia, let's say, and you're filling them with love and light. And then you're taking that same line and filling somebody in England with that love and light. You don't need to know that person, but you're setting the intentions that you're sending that love, that healing, that light to that person. And then maybe you're sending another string of light and love to somebody in China, and somebody in the Netherlands, and somebody in South Africa, wherever it is. It's like you become that powerful being, and it's really amazing. It's like I could sit there and just imagine myself doing this all over the world. And I do that quite often, because although I don't see what's actually like happening to that person, I know with my intention, with my intent, with my love, with my light, that I am making a difference. So if you can do that each and every single day, or throughout the day, or whenever it feels right for you, do that, because it is impacting people that need it. So don't ever think that you're too small or that you're not capable of making change. And that kind of wraps back into me channeling these light beings, is I know that it's not meant for me to just keep inside. It's not meant for me to sit in my basement and channel these messages and not share it with the world. Because I know that there's a positive impact that I can have on other people with these messages, with this healing, with these light codes. And I know that it's meant to be shared. And again, it's not to say that it's not scary as fuck to do this. Sorry, excuse my language. It's part of me. Sorry. It is scary, but it's not meant to be held in anymore. So I thank all of you for being with me on this journey. I'm blown away by all of your graciousness, your gratitude, your appreciation. I'm blown away with how beautiful each and every single one of you are. I just ask that you all shine your light so bright, continue to be the light for other people, share your love, share your kindness, and thank you for joining me this evening. I'm going to check my computer to see the comments. Let me just see if they will pop up. Oh yes, there are some comments. Luann, this is a wealth of information. I'm going to listen to this again. I'm very intrigued. Thank you, Luann, if you're still watching. Chris said, so weird. I had the most vivid dream the other night. The feelings were still with me the following day. Ooh, I want to know what the dream was. I have been having very vivid dreams the last couple nights, and the only way I can describe these dreams is that I'm on a completely it's an alternate reality to me. It's like I am on a completely different planet. I don't remember the specific details. All I remember is the feelings that I was with these beings. And I was also receiving some messages about people that I know here on this planet. But like I said, I don't remember really the details of it. And the interesting aspect of that is every once in a while, yesterday and today, I get a little glimpse of this alternate reality. It's like I'll close my eyes and I'll see it like really quick. Right before I got on the video this evening or on this live, I made my connection. So I cleared my body, cleared my space, grounded my energy, went up, got my connection to my higher self, and that they were all there. It was like the council was there. They were ready for me. They're ready for me to speak about this and to share this with all of you. And I thought that was really beautiful. It was like the way that I can describe it is that like I go and make this connection and I envision like this doorway opening to connect to my higher self, and they were just there, and I was spinning in this space, and it was iridescent color, and it was blue, and then the being, like I saw their faces kind of come in with me, and then I came back down into my body, and then now here I am. So it was really, 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 really cool. So I felt like I needed to share that with all of you. I'm just going to refresh my page, see if there's any other comments. I'm actually quite impressed that I haven't blown out my phone yet, because that is pretty typical when I'm talking about this stuff. My phone has been completely shutting down lately, the last couple days when I talk about anything energy related. And I have to tell a funny story. I went to coffee with my friend Mike today. He's a member of this group. And we went to have coffee, and we talked about a lot of different interesting topics. And when we were leaving, I said to him, let's take a selfie. Because I want to share it. He's also in the program that I'm doing. And so I said, let's take a selfie so I can share it in the group. And I held up my phone, and it's not like I just dropped my phone. It was like whoosh. It like flew out of my phone, and it flew out of my hand, and I'm like, oh my God, what the hell, So it's also things like that you will start to experience, like the clumsiness, the dropping, like can't get your shit together kind of thing, that happened. And it was just really funny. And I was like, okay, did I just drop it? Or was that like a literally something that like came along and just, no, you're not taking that picture. It was pretty funny. Lindsay says, sorry, one second. Lindsay said, I was wide awake the other night and so at peace with it and enjoyed it. It was very strange, as in the past I get anxious when losing sleep, but now it makes sense and I see it as a positive. Thank you. Yes, Lindsay, yes. That's such an amazing thing to acknowledge and have awareness on. I'm an early bird. I mean, like, I'm up at like 5:30, but for me, sleeping is not an issue. If I don't fall asleep good, that's when I start to feel anxious, because usually like when my head hits the pillow, I am out. But there are times like when there's too much energy and it's like, I like can't fall asleep. That's when I get anxious. But when I'm on this cusp of like expansion and transformation and expansion, I will wake up at like 3:30, 4 o'clock. And at first I was like, oh, really? Come on. I just want to sleep. Now I get excited when that happens. Like, I'm like, oh my God, yay, I get to wake up at 3:30 because first of all, it means I get to start drinking coffee. Like, yeah, hello. Second, I get to start like meditating and journaling and making my connection and channeling and all that kind of stuff because I know what's happening when I'm waking up at those hours. And it's like, instead of just laying there and like being like, oh my God, I'm so pissed because I'm not sleeping, it's like, I am like ready. And it's so funny to me because like my husband will like, oh my God, you woke up so early. What's wrong with you? Or somebody will say, oh my God, you woke up that early? And I'm like, I know, but do you know how exciting this is for me? Because I know that something's coming and I get more time to just be in that space. And I love my me time in the morning, and it just means I get a little extra time. And quite honestly, this happened last year where I was waking up consistently like at 3:30 every morning, and then I went to Maui, and oh my God, that was just even more crazy because of the time change. But then I was like waking up at like 5:30 or 6 o'clock, and I felt gypped, like, because I don't set an alarm because I don't ever need an alarm. Except now when I have to teach class on Thursday mornings, but I was feeling gypped because I was like, oh, but now I didn't like get that extra time to journal. And of course I could have set an alarm, but I like to just kind of wake up naturally. But I was getting kind of sad, like, oh my God, I'm sleeping in till 5:30. But anyways, I like that special time. That's been my whole life, waking up at 3. Yes. It's part of it. It's so exciting. Okay, so I'm going to kind of wrap up. I don't see any more questions coming in. I'm watching my computer. One more announcement that I wanted to make. Mark your calendars. I'm going to pick a date. Well, I guess you can't really mark the calendars because I don't have a specific date, but I'm thinking it's going to be the beginning part of February. I'm going to be teaching a one-day workshop about enlightenment and spiritual awakening. This just came in for me today. So the way that I develop my courses is I just let my guides tell me what I'm going to be teaching next, and based off of what people are ready for, and based off of this whole practice of me channeling and people asking more questions and things like that, they are telling me that this is the time. So this is the time to be doing the channeled messages. This is my time to just step into my truth of the channeling. And it's also the time that people are ready to learn more about a spiritual awakening and enlightenment and transformation, all of that. So I'm super excited. I'm going to be offering a one-day workshop. It's going to be on a Saturday. Lunch will be included. I'm going to be talking about symptoms of awakening, spiritual awakening, and enlightenment. I'm going to be talking about different signs and synchronicities that you'll start to experience, how you can establish your connection through grounding and connecting to your higher self. It literally all just came through this afternoon, so I'm still putting the details together, obviously, but I'm super, super excited about that. I know that people are ready for this, and I am, my role as a teacher is to create space for that to happen, so I'm really excited about that. So yeah, thank you all so much for joining. If you want to hear more of a channeled message, come on Friday night. If you want to connect to your loved ones, your guides, also come Friday night because I will be delivering those messages as well. I will be recording more channeled messages from my light beings. I'm not going to do that tonight. It's like, oh, do you want to do that or do you not want to do that? Let me check in with them. Yes, okay. Okay, I'm going to leave you with a very short message because my body just was covered in chills, and they want to leave you with a little message tonight. But I also am enticing you all to come Friday. There's 8 to 10 spaces available, 8 spaces available Friday night. So please let me know if you're interested in coming to that. I'm going to just go back up, grab my connection, and then I'm going to leave you with a short message. So take a moment to close your eyes, take a nice couple deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. Allow the energies, the vibrations, the tones, pitches to come through you. Allow it to expand in your heart. Hasekara bakashamaneke semene heshomote seya kamaya sabatea o sabate kamamaya shaba. Aseke shobote pedea sakamaya shobote beka boya sebeka mami sebadea o chapatea. Asabeya o chapate kamama seba chapote beka o shapatea samamaya bakama shaboya kapateawa. Aseke boshapote pete wata bakashabomaya o chapatea soboya bate jopate semamaya bate patea o shapote boya pata. I'm trying to slow it down. Aseke boshapote se yamota paya o shapote sapate about kama mesepe joja pate kapaka shapoya pate kamao yapate o sabaya papaya. Allow the light within your heart and soul to shine and expand throughout yourself. Go within each moment of each day as the beautiful beings that you are. You are all here to experience love, joy, fulfillment in greater ways that you've been allowing yourself. Go beyond the limitations of past generations. Allow yourself to experience the fear, because without it, you would be stuck in these generational patterns that are no longer serving you. So allow yourself to break free. Allow yourself to experience love, joy, and fulfillment in new, powerful ways. So basically, that's the message that they wanted to share. Like I said, I don't always know what the message means, but that was what was coming. So thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. That was my first live channel of that. So thank you for holding on and listening with me. And go forth, be the light, share your light with others, be kind, love one another as you have loved yourself, and find that love within yourself. If you feel as though this has been a challenge for you recently, do know that I am available for you to experience this expansion energy one-on-one, because again, it's so needed right now if you are ready to receive. I love you all. Thanks for tuning in. I probably talked a lot longer than I meant to, but thank you all so much for joining. Again, if you have questions, comments, anything that you want to share, please feel free to reach out. And have a wonderful evening, and I hope to see some of you beautiful souls on Friday evening. Thank you all for tuning in with me. Thank you, Divine Light Beings, for coming through and providing these messages for all of you. So much love for you. Have a great night. Bye.